President Trump today denying that he made insensitive remarks to the widow of a fallen soldier and claimed a congresswoman who made the accusation is lying about it. Here's a little backstory. The controversy began Monday when a reporter asked the president if he had contacted the families of 4 Green Berets who died 2 weeks ago in an ISIS ambush in the African nation of Niger. The president claimed past presidents rarely reached out to such families and said he had planned to do so. He reportedly called the pregnant widow of one of the soldiers yesterday. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson claims it was on speakerphone and she heard the exchange. The Congresswoman said the president told the widow, quote, "He knew what he was signing up for, but I guess it hurts anyway." This morning, the president fired back in a tweet saying, "Democrat Congresswoman totally fabricated what I said to the wife of a soldier who died in action, and I have proof. Sad." But now the fallen soldier's mother says the president disrespected her son. The question now, should we be politicizing something this personal and tragic? Joining me now, former CIA officer and president of Diligence LLC, Mike Baker. Mike, I would like to believe this story is not true. I worry that there is enough of a kernel of truth to it that, you know, it's the kind of thing that hurts the president with veterans and those serving in the military. It's disappointing, and it's unfortunate that we're talking about this to begin with. Look, there is no more sad personal duty that a president has than to call the family or console the family of a fallen soldier. And so there's several layers to this. First of all, it's unfortunate that this is now out in the open, that we're talking about something this private. But can we believe that President Trump may not be the most eloquent of all presidents we've had, and that this type of call, I mean, imagine yourself at a funeral home. You don't know what to say anyway in just daily life, or someone that you know loses a loved one. It's hard to have that conversation in private. Now you're the president. You're making this call. You're President Trump, who's known to, again, not perhaps be the most eloquent. Is it possible that in his efforts to console the family, what he said was not particularly Lincoln-esque? Of course, that's a possibility, and it's something that should be held private between those families. That doesn't excuse what Representative Wilson did. She was essentially in the car eavesdropping on one of the most painful moments a family can have, and she decided that she would politicize this, even though she says she's not politicizing. Of course she is. And it's disgusting. It's pathetic that she would come out in the open with this moment between the president and the family. The only person that has a right to do that would be a member of that family. Yeah, no, she certainly inserted herself into this, and she knew that her comments were going to create a political firestorm. But what can the president do at this point? I don't know if he can make it right with his family. Certainly he can learn from this going forward. And I'm sorry, this is one of those things that you don't need on-the-job experience to know how to be an empathetic and sensitive human.
Everybody brings to life of various levels of empathy. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. It doesn't mean, you would like everyone to have a bottomless well of empathy, but that's not the way the world works, unfortunately. Look, the president, once again, is in a self-inflicted wound situation. When asked by the press the other day about these 4 soldiers that died in Niger, all he had to say was that, you know, he expresses his utmost sympathy to the families, that, you know, he feels that it's the most solemn duty to talk to these families, and then just zip it, leave it at that. His comments that then followed about what past presidents have done were absolutely unnecessary. They were indelicate. They were unfortunate. They shouldn't have been made. Yeah. But you know, this is what he does. He shoots from the hip, and he sends out these Twitters.
Camille Foster made a really good point on the show last night, and that is, you know, we're outraged by the president's insensitivity. We're outraged. If this story is true, we're very angry about that. We should really be upset that we've got special forces in parts of Africa that we have no business being in. What the hell are they doing there?
Well, yeah, hold fire on that one for a second. Look, the reason why we're there, and we've had forces in a serious way in Africa since just shortly after 9/11. And we created AFRICOM in 2007 because of the importance of this area of Niger and Yemen and Nigeria and Mali and this whole area. And the reason why we're there is because, look, the jihadists, the Muslim extremists need a couple of things, right? At least a couple of things to succeed. They need instability and a lack of government infrastructure, and then they need a Muslim society. They've got those things there in this area, and that's why they've been successful. This is where ISIS and al-Qaeda affiliates and Boko Haram all sort of converge. So we have a reason to be there supporting African military personnel and primarily in training roles, which is what these individuals were doing who unfortunately were killed in this ambush. Yeah. So we have a reason to be there. But again, if we go back to this top-line discussion about the president, that was he's created another firestorm. It's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary, and hopefully we can move past this. You know, this is the type of thing that it's very easy to obsess on for over a week. Unfortunately, it's not going to bring that heroic soldier back. It's not going to bring any comfort anytime soon to his grieving pregnant wife and their family. But hopefully someone somewhere can internalize some lessons. So going forward, we do have some sensitivity and support for those who are truly fighting for freedom. Mike Baker, thank you so much.
Right.